voice of growth, mastering the mind and market.
It's about people first. And it's $1 billion a year. And you have to be resilient and fast to act. At the end of everything, business is personal. Take the chance. Don't think about it, and you're going to do fine. Never lose your North Star. There's something magical about this place. You did the right things to make your family and your community better because of you.
Felipe, tell me your first memory of Tucson.
My first memory of Tucson, wow, it was arriving one day, first time ever, it was a Monday, came with the dean of the college at the school that I was studying in Mexico. I arrived here in town, and I had no idea what to expect. To be honest, I've never been in Tucson. It was the first time I've heard about it. This is before the internet, so not a lot of research can be done. And it was a peculiar place. It was like, okay, I don't get it. I don't understand Tucson. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that some very cool things going on, but it was hard for me to get a grasp. It happened years later. Then I'm like, oh, got it. It clicked on me later on in life.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So kind of a follow-up to that is... And we're going to get to all the beautiful things with Tucson and all that. But before we get there, how do you think that second cities have a particular place or power? Second cities meaning, of course, Phoenix is metropolitan, the largest in Arizona. Second city, you can say Chicago is even maybe a second city to New York City.
Yep.
And Tucson, we have a position there. Do you think there's any power to that?
Absolutely. I think that the power it is that we have a better opportunity to protect what we have, keep our identity, and make sure that our identity maintains without going out of hand, without having others influence your identity. I mean, I've seen various cities that have grown exponentially, and all of a sudden it's like, well, this is not the place that it was 50 years ago. It's a new place with a new mindset, a new ideology, a new way of thinking, because you have people moving in and saying, well, I'm moving to this place, but rather than respecting where I am and understanding and adapting, no, I want to bring my philosophy, my work, my workspace, my plants, vegetation even, because I want this place to look the home that I was living thousands of miles away. Well, adapt where you are and adapt in the desert, or adapt in this case for us. So I think we have that opportunity. Now the challenge is that many times we tend to have a chip on our shoulder, and many times we get more obsessed about the chip in the shoulder than to say, no, use it to the advantage. Make sure that you don't sand that you sharpen it, and make sure that you use that as a resiliency way. So I think on the other side, on the negative part, you can have great opportunities, but you have to be careful to really use them.
Yeah. So you said two words there that I really love that are a little bit misunderstood. The first of which is identity.
Yeah.
Identity is really the source of so much power. If you've ever read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about the idea of not setting goals for the sake of, okay, here's a goal. People don't reach their goals if they do it that way.
Yeah.
But if you build systems that form habits that create an identity, then you achieve those quote unquote goals, your dreams. So I love that word. Other word I love is adaptability or adapt.
Yeah.
You need to adapt. And that's one thing, I was born in Tucson. I grew up in Douglas on the border. I came back to U of A. I went all the way, to Michigan, New Mexico, Las Vegas, and Austin. Then I came back, and I got an interesting snapshot of the before and after. Yeah. And I got to say, Felipe, you being in that seat, most recently as CEO and previously as a VP of I don't know exactly what, but you'll tell us, such a big change in the way that the brand of Tucson has sort of been put out there to the world. So let's talk about Visit Tucson.
Perfect. So Visit Tucson, we are what is called a destination marketing organization. That's the technical term. Even though that's evolving now, it went from a destination marketing organization to a destination management organization. And now I think the vision is a destination stewardship organization. By building the identity of our community and helping protect it, we will be able to bring people to Tucson and market, sell, and support. So our goal is very easy. We go around the world to bring visitors here to our community. Why? Because that's new money coming to our economy, money coming to our community. If you and I one day go to lunch and we pay $50 for lunch here somewhere in Tucson, well, that's $50 going in circles in Tucson. It's a Tucsonan putting $50 in a restaurant that's going to stay here. That's great. When a visitor comes, they bring their $50 in their pocket and they'll be here in our community. So that's the beautiful thing about tourism, that it's fresh money coming here. There's people coming here to our community. So our goal of Visit Tucson, again, it's selling Tucson to the world. It's a very rewarding world. It's a very challenging and very competitive. People think, I joke that people think that we are, for those people my age, they remembered Fantasy Island on television and Mr. Rourke, that you will sit next to the pool, all dressed in white, drinking champagne, and you welcome everyone and you wishes. And that's it. It's very simple. It is not. It is very competitive. Every city in the world is fighting for tourists. Everyone's putting money to fight. So we have to be out there and we have to tell our story constantly, because the moment you don't tell your story, someone else is going to tell your story for you, and it's not what you want. So that's, again, it's a very complex, but it's a beautiful industry. I love it. I love being in tourism.
You know, one thing that was very compelling to me that sort of made my eyes open wider during a meeting you and I had a few months ago.
Yep.
The ROI of Visit Tucson, that to me was mind-blowing. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So again, we measure and track. We are funded, and as most organizations like ours around the U.S., through bed taxes. So this originally actually was the hotels that went to local government and said, hey, why don't we put a tax on hotel stays? And then you keep part of the money for infrastructure, roads, transportation, whatever you need, but let's put the other part to market and sell and promote our destination. So it's one of the few taxes that actually the person being taxed is the one that asking the government to do it. So we take those dollars and then we deploy it to marketing, sales programs. And then we track what we brought to our community. And we're very careful in what we report. Gem Show. We don't take credit for Gem Show because, again, it's already here. We just track number of room nights, how is it going, but our influence is just to maintain it and keep it. We're not bringing new business. So any business that we bring and we report on return of our effort, it has to have a contract to back it up. I need to, if we brought a convention from Chicago or a meeting, I need to know that we brought it, number one. Number two, that they actually came, there was a contract signed with the hotel, and that actually happened. Otherwise, we will not take credit for those numbers. So for every dollar that it comes here, we're bringing between 16, 17, 18, sometimes $20 back to our community.
Wow.
And again, that's, believe me, a very conservative number, but we want to keep it that way. We know the impact, and there's things that we cannot measure. Like on leisure travel, we can have parameters, what we don't know, how many people that saw our ad somewhere that came to Tucson because our ad. We're trying to influence that, but we will not take credit again unless we can really back it up with data, contracts, numbers.
That's very interesting. And, you know, I think the impact is immeasurable.
Yes.
You just go downtown, you go anywhere here and you see construction, you see new things happening. I recently heard Fletcher talk about certain things that are happening downtown in Rio Nuevo. A lot of things are happening in Tucson, you know, no doubt. But there's one thing that I love about Tucson, maybe a little bit more than other things, and that is the idea of gastronomy.
Oh, yes.
So talk to me about gastronomy as a growth engine for Tucson.
So it's been phenomenal how we've seen gastronomy put Tucson on the map. But what's fascinating, people think 10 years ago, we got the designation as a creative city of gastronomy. And I remember very well, Mayor Rothschild called me from his office and says, Felipe, we just got this designation from UNESCO, and come to my office and have a press conference Friday. This is December. So the sun goes down early. So I was at our office downtown, and I carry a banner that we had. He says, hey, bring a banner or two that has something with Tucson images so we can use this as a backdrop. So I went over, and we had a press conference. It was great. Jonathan Mayberry was there. A few folks from the community. Mayor talked about it. Press was like all hyped. Oh, Tucson is a UNESCO city of gastronomy. So once the press conference was over, I took the elevator down, and I'm carrying my two banners, walking through La Placita, and it's dark already. It's December. And my first reaction, Manny, was, what have we done? I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, this is big. Are we ready for it? I felt the same way as when you buy your first car and then the salesperson keeps you upgrading you to something bigger, and you get that excitement, and as long as 2 blocks you're driving, you're like, shoot, what have I done? This is a big commitment. That's how I felt. Like, it's a big responsibility and commitment. But it has been transformational. It has been, I think, one of the things that has helped Tucson really shine attention. But we have to realize, number one, it was not a franchise. It doesn't mean that starting that day, things in Tucson, gastronomy-wise, are going to be this. They were already here. UNESCO just recognized and says, yes, this is happening in the community. So we took that message and started to put it around the world and market promoted. And it was amazing to me that a few years later, I was meeting with this friend from Mexico, from Mexico City, but he's from Puebla. He says, hey, Felipe, there's this network of cities in gastronomy, and I think you guys, that as of UNESCO, you'll be perfect. It's called the Delis Network. It's based in Lyon, France. And I said, hey, that's great, but who are the members? He's like, well, it's Lyon, France, and it's Brussels in Belgium, and Montreal, and Barcelona, and Madrid, and Hong Kong. And I'm like, says, those are big names. Do you think that Tucson can fit there? And he says, you should apply. So I had a few calls with the headquarters in Lyon. We applied, and we were voted to join this network.
Wow.
And now, actually, I'm the president of the organization because people are saying Tucson is doing so many great things that you guys should be leading our organization for the next few years. So food and gastronomy has become this amazing developer of identity. And something else that I think is fascinating, it has unified our community. We fight, and unfortunately in this world, we're more divided than ever, mostly politically, of course. So you see opposite sides and conflict. We have decided not to agree to disagree. It's constant arguments. But food in Tucson, gastronomy, that unifies everyone in Tucson. I've seen individuals with different political element spectrums, and they don't talk nice to each other. Oh, but we're talking about food and the chimichanga or carne seca, whatever. They're at the table and get excited and defend what Tucson gastronomy is all about.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as you were reading those names, you were listing, Barcelona and all that. I actually got chills. You couldn't see, but I was so excited. I mean, my family, we came from restaurants. And my nana had a restaurant, my mom, my tia, a lot of restaurants in my family. I fortunately, because I escaped that, and I say that sort of tongue in cheek, because the restaurant industry is very difficult.
Very hard.
And so I'm glad to see that we're making some inroads. Amazing restaurants opening up downtown, Ursa, and then we've got Bata opened up, and then Boca Tacos and Opson. And there's so many places that we can go. We can probably dedicate a whole show to that.
Oh, it's a different world. It's a different world, and it's a great world. Yes.
Yeah. So let's take that as a backdrop to shine a light on Felipe in Mexico. Tell us about your beginnings. Like, where did you come from, and what brought you here to the U.S.?
So it's a interesting story. So I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. That's a city in northeast Mexico, close to Texas, about 2.5 3 hours from the border. Big city. It's the second largest in Mexico right now. A lot of manufacturing industry. My dad, he's retired, but he has a company, a consulting company. But for many years, he had a transnational company. So we were in this world of high performers and business and private jets. And it was crazy in the sense of the exposure I was able to have as a kid. Then I went to school there. I went to law school. And I was very involved in the student body, and I was a president at my last year of the student body of the school. And at that time, we every year the students put together a conference. That was very typical that your school will put a conference. It was students doing it. Will fundraise, sell tickets, do sponsorships, and there were big things. I mean, I remember my friends from the business school in Monterrey. That year to the conference, they brought Ronald Reagan as a speaker. And I was part of the, yes, I was part of the, I was not the host committee or anything, but I was part of the conversations because we had a federation of all the presidents of all the schools. Again, we're students. We're seniors in school. And I remember talking to my friend from the business school and chatting and getting ideas. And it was a $120,000 investment plus a private jet to pick President Reagan in California, plus all these requirements. But that, I mean, that was kind of what you were aiming for. Wow. Like, do amazing things. School will not give you money. It was not funded by the school. It was, you have to fundraise. So anyway, this is when NAFTA was going to take in effect. It was this is in back in 1994. Well, 93, going to 94. And so I said, hey, let's do a conference about the implications of NAFTA in upcoming legal systems and economies. So I went to Mexico City and I met with this professor from the National University of Mexico and said, hey, who are some of the top 15 attorneys doing work on international trade? And he gave me a list and I said, hey, this list is vetoed already because it's, again, a gentleman that I respect and I know that he's one of the experts in international trade. And one of the names on the list was from a person in Tucson, Arizona. And his name is Boris Kosolchik. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I said, hey, I told my team, all these are great speakers because they were recommended. So let's think creatively. I think that marketing-wise, it sounds fascinating that Boris Kosolchik is a speaker and he has this appeal. So we invited Boris to go, and this is in 92. So he goes down. This is like a year off still for NAFTA. He goes down to Monterrey, my school. He does an amazing presentation. People loved it. I set up a dinner with the president of the system of the University Tec de Monterrey, and they talk about education. So then in 94, people say, hey, we should bring him back. So we brought Boris back. And that's when he said, hey, I talked to the University of Arizona. We're going to do a master's program in international trade. Funny story, and I'll share it with you. So I'm the president of the student body at that time, and we're hosting the conference. So I'm in the lobby of the venue in my school where we have this event, and I had like a walkie-talkie with a little earpiece because I'm hearing conversations of who's doing what. And I remember we had an issue with a speaker arriving earlier and the room was not available. So they're driving in circles trying to make some time to. So I walk into the room where Boris was speaking. And I sit on the back of the auditorium, and it's all dark. And I'm listening to the conversation, not paying attention, unfortunately, what Boris was saying. And all of a sudden, I hear that people start clapping, and then a spotlight goes on and puts on my face, and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. Of course, my reaction is like, well, he's thanking me to invite him. Yeah. So I stood up and I waved, thank you, and I sat down and. Presentation's over, Q&A, there's a break, and people came to me and started tapping like, hey, Felipe, that's amazing. Oh, that's so cool. That's so great. And then a friend of mine came in and she told me, oh, so Felipe, are you going to go? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, what Boris said. I'm like, I had no idea what he said. I was not paying attention. It wasn't my thing talking about the hotel. So we want to decide like what he said. Like, well, he says that because of meetings coming here, he's launching a program in Tucson at the University of Arizona, and that he's also wanted maybe for me to go and work at the National Law Center for Inter-American Free Trade to start working there in NAFTA. And like, I had no idea. Thank you for letting me know. And says, I think I'm going to say yes. And that's why I ended up here in Tucson. It was for amazing things. I tell people it was a lot of luck, but sometimes you have to make your luck happen. You have to work and you have to do those things for things to happen. So yeah, that's what happened to me 30-something years ago, and I'm still here, and I love this community.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
You've heard the idea of the butterfly effect?
Oh yeah.
That, I mean, straight up, that moment defined your life,
yes,
right?
It did. And it was, again, just for circumstantials. And people says, well, it was luck. Yes, but I think that you have to create those opportunities for you. You have to be there. So great things happen to people because many times they're putting themselves in that scenario. Yeah.
Now, how big is the opportunity the binational cross-border opportunity? How big is it, really?
It's massive. It's huge. I mean, we don't realize, and people scratch their heads of the relations between Mexico, the U.S. I mean, it happens around the world in different borders, but between the U.S. and Mexico, it's massive. You just look at data of here in Tucson, and I'm not talking about exports of when I was in San Carlos at a wedding that I came back on Sunday, and driving back, and I saw all these trucks carrying vehicles from former company that are coming here to the U.S. from assembly plant in Mexico. So I'm not counting exports from Mexico. I'm not counting manufacturing, just the number of people that were driving their cars, but they're coming here to spend money. In Tucson, it's $1 billion a year with a B, that people from Mexico are coming here with money in their pockets to spend it here. On my way down, I do a TV segment every Thursday in the news in Mexico. So on my way down to San Carlos, I stop at the border in Nogales. I always get gas, refill gas, get a coffee, and good to go. So I'm getting my coffee there at a Circle K, close to the border, and I see these three people getting soft drinks, coffee, and they're doing some hot dogs, and they're looking at me like we know him. And I'm like, I don't know. I was not paying attention that should maybe I know them, and sometimes I forget people that I met before. So they came to me and says, hey, Felipe, you're the one on television, aren't you? Like, oh yeah, that's me. Like, oh, we see you every week, and that's great, and blah blah blah. Like, says, oh, what are you doing here? We're from Magdalena. We're on the way to Tucson. We're gonna go shopping. Like, great. So I bought them their hot dogs and everything, like nice. on me. So to me, that excites me to see these people coming and spending money here. And they're paying sales tax, man, and they're paying for our police, fire, libraries, roads. Those visitors from Mexico are helping pay for those services. So that happens in Tucson. That happens all along the U.S.-Mexico border in this country.
Yeah, it's fascinating. People don't really realize how intertwined our cultures are.
Yes.
I mean, I was born in Tucson, but my family is from Mexico, right? I'm a big, tall Mexican, you know?
Yeah.
And so believe me, I see it because I've lived it. I've lived on the border town, and I see it. So much activity. Obviously, with the national conversation and political conversation, I don't think people really understand what it really is. Yeah. And I would invite those that don't understand to visit Tucson. Come down, take a look. There's so many things to do around here. I mean, you can drive an hour in any direction and be up in Mount Lemon in the pine forest. You can be down in Arivaca or other places that are just beautiful. So
absolutely.
It's pretty amazing. Now, tell me a little bit about challenges you might have had along the way.
Oh gosh, many. There's been a lot. I mean, I've noticed in this industry and everything in life, you plan and you build again your goals and objectives, and you have planned for the future, and then things happen along the way, and you have to be resilient and fast to act. That's something that I realized. You cannot wait and analyze and give it a lot of thoughts. Many times you have to take action right away. So we've gone from COVID-19 and closing the border, and again, business not coming our way. We have gone from political challenges with a local SB 1070 that made a lot of people angry and trying to boycott traveling to Arizona and trying to Tucson. So it seems very constantly we have something that we have to deal with. But it's always being fast and being unique and being authentic. I think that's what makes a difference, and understanding that it's about people first. So during the pandemic, for example, we knew there was no business. No one was booking. I mean, 2020, no one was looking into, we have no idea when the world is going to reopen. We thought there were going to be 2 weeks, go home, and in 2 weeks we'll come back and just bring Lysol with you and you'll be good. But we had no idea then later on when things are going to reopen. And we made an effort to just contact individuals and human beings. We have a person in Chicago that works on market for us. And we asked her to go and meet with clients, not to tell them, hey, when do you think you're going to have business coming back to us? Go with clients and check on them, ask them how they're doing, and offer to bring some food. And she will go and tell a client to say, what do you want to have for lunch today? I'll go and do something, carry out. I'll put it on the floor outside of your house. Open the garage. You get your food. I'll get mine. I'll sit in my chair. You sit inside, so we're at distance. And let's talk about how you're doing, what's going on, and throw tennis, and are you playing with the kids? And zero conversation about, hey, when you have business in the future to Tucson, nothing. When things started reopening, Tucson was the city that recovered the fastest in the West Coast United States. Never has happened. we were ahead of Scottsdale, Phoenix, LA, San Diego, Las Vegas, because we decided not to shut down during hard times, but still be there. But remember that at the end of everything, business is personal. It's about, and that's my philosophy. Business is personal, not meaning that I'm going to take things personally, but it means that I care about not only a brand or a company or a title. I care about the individual that is behind it. And if that to me, again, that's my style. Some people say, well, I disagree with you, and that's fine. There's other styles of management. To me, it's, again, I take things personally in the sense that I care about those that I work with. That's the most important part for me.
And I think we're cut from the same cloth. I also believe the same way. And I would much rather work and really thrive and live with folks around me that I like, that I want to see successful, that I care about.
Yep.
And rather than a cutthroat situation where I'm just pushing people down so I can get higher. I think there's way better ways to manage and to grow your business.
Absolutely. I mean, and to me, that's what makes me happy personally and feeds my soul, I guess, is when I see that what I do that impacts my community. So remember, this several months ago, I was at the JW Marriott. I was at one of our luncheon event here in Tucson with like 700 people in this ballroom, and it was great. Say hi to a lot of people, you network, and that's part, again, of the things we have to do for business. That is important to keep that connection. But many times I end up to stay always to the end so I can say hi to all the people when I touch base with. And I remember I'm walking out towards the exit doors of the ballroom there at JW Marriott, and I noticed this one of the servers that he's kind of looking at me at a distance and glancing, like, well, maybe he's looking at me because he's like, hey, when are you leaving, buddy? Because I have to clean this place. But the moment I started walking towards the one of the exit doors, I see him coming like to my direction. So I stopped and I waited, and I went close by and says, hey, Mr. Garcia, I want to just shake your hand and thank you for everything you're doing, and this has impacted me and my family. Can we take a selfie? Like, absolutely. Says, oh, you've been, it was great. Not because of getting the recognition, but feeling like, wow, I'm making an impact on an individual here in Tucson that it's helping bring food to their family. I love talking to the ownership group at JW Marriott. They're amazing people. The company's great. They're putting a lot of money in our hotels here in Tucson. And it's rewarding when they tell me, hey, Felipe, thank you for your work, or your team, because we're bringing business. But it's even more rewarding to me when it's that individual that it's like, wow, you're making, thanks for your work. Again, I will not take the credit. I'm helping others push in the right direction. Mm-hmm.
No, I think that impact is personal.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
And that's really powerful. That, that's one of the things that obviously drives you. I see it in different ways too. I've had some situations where, it warms your soul and it gives you motivation because you know how it is in business and any level of success. You're going to have days where you're like, man, is this really worth it? Or, is the madness worth what is getting accomplished?
Yes.
And the answer is yes.
Yes. But
sometimes when you're in the weeds or in the trenches, it's hard to really get away from that. I read this morning a very interesting piece of information.
Uh-huh.
You might have seen this. The U.S. Census and a business survey that came out recently said that Tucson has the highest level percentage of family-owned businesses at almost 34%.
Wow.
That's across the entire United States. Did you hear about that yet?
No, I've not. I came back from a wedding last night from Mexico in the morning, run to the office. I haven't seen that information. That's amazing.
Yeah, Michael Guyman posted it on LinkedIn. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Uh-huh. But that to me speaks about the values that Tucson has, right? Yeah. And that's powerful.
And I love it because I think that it's in our culture as well. I remember when I got here many years ago, that we were fixated with brands and recognition and mortified if a chain, whatever, will close our operation in Tucson or leave. And now I see local like, well, if a chain restaurant leaves, that's bad, of course. We don't want people to lose money. But hey, a local restaurant's going to go in, and that's exciting. That's good. I love to see family operator businesses, because again, you see the impact, the passion. You know that it's a struggle. You know that it's going to be hard. That it's especially going back to the restaurant world. Oh my gosh, it's people think that it's. I tell people, if you want to open a restaurant, first read Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain, so you can understand a little bit about it. Or as a friend of mine, Michael Luria, once told me, like, hey Felipe, he was a restaurateur part of his life. He says that the secret to becoming a millionaire as a restaurant owner is to open a restaurant when you're a billionaire. And then you become a millionaire afterwards. It's hard. It's there's hard. People that are successful, but it's a lot of work. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of legislation. There's a lot of control. Not legislation, but controls, laws. I mean, it's hard. But I feel passionate about our restaurants, especially when they're family-operated restaurants, the impact that it has. And something that I was talking, I have a good friend in Barcelona, Spain, and Sergio Gil, and he has this association in Spain that is called Sustainable Restaurants, and he looks at two factors in sustainability. First, of course, ingredients and food waste, but also the role that restaurants play in social gathering places. How that's where you go to celebrate birthdays, and where you celebrate a wedding or important things in your life, a career advancement, you go to a restaurant, you go to eat food. Sad moments, when you go to a funeral, maybe you get family together to eat food. So food has, and restaurants, this amazing place in social cohesion. So when you have these locally family-owned businesses, that's amazing. I think that's, again, what has made the U.S. such a beautiful country with these opportunities, and that's why I encourage people to go and help and support local businesses all the time. Chains are good. They also have an impact to play. That's important, absolutely. But again, pay attention, and then take your chances. Go and check something new.
No, that's beautiful. Every time I have people visit me from out of town, I take them around the restaurants that I really adore.
Yeah.
And most of those happen to be family restaurants, Boca Tacos, El Rustico, Juanitos. I mean, those are my places. Places that only take cash, like Birreria Guadalajara. I mean, that place has the best menu, though, in my opinion. But I love that. I'm going to give you a magic phone, Felipe.
Okay.
We're going to dial a number.
Okay.
And it is going to be Felipe
okay.
at 18 years old.
Okay. Oof.
What would you...
Felipe,
what would you tell Felipe as a word of wisdom or words of wisdom if you were to tell yourself at 18 years old?
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep having fun. Keep dreaming big. Don't follow rules and guidelines in the sense of, I'm not telling you to do anything illegal, but don't think that because of who you are and where you are, you have to do this and be this. Keep those dreams, keep thinking big, keep looking into, don't be afraid. Again, I think Felipe at 18 years old, there are things that he has to improve, but I think he's on the right track. I think that he has the love of his family, a future place in a great community. So take that chance. Don't think about it, and you're going to do fine.
I love that, yeah. Fear is a crazy thing. We're held back by it so much. Yeah. And I learned years ago that physiologically speaking, the only difference between fear and excitement is your breathing.
Really? Interesting.
The only thing different.
Interesting.
So when you are fearful or when you're excited, you have that same sense, but you breathe differently. When you are excited, you breathe like that. When you're fearful, you hold back your breath.
Interesting.
So this is one trick I've learned. If I'm ever fearful of something, which happens from time to time, if I'm going to go meet a big client or whatever, I just breathe it out and believe it works. I'm going to take that same phone.
Okay.
I'm going to dial a different number.
Okay.
And it's going to be you at 80 years old.
80. Okay.
And so in this sense, rather than telling your 80-year-old self something, you're going to ask yourself a couple questions. What would those be?
So I'm going to ask, are you happy? And number 2, is your family and your community better because of you? Did you do the right things to make your family and your community better because of you?
That's really powerful. I think that speaks to your mission right there.
It is. And to be honest, many times, as you say, you have these questions and challenges. I mean, very blunt and honest. I go to meetings and events, and people are like, Felipe, why have you not left Tucson? Why are you not somewhere else? Why don't you go to another city? Oh, you're the only person that is trying to do something in Tucson. I get that comment a lot. And yes, I've been fortunately, and it feels good that I've been called by other places that they're asking, hey, would you be interested in becoming tourism director or another job in similar world in the U.S., abroad. I've been called, and it was fascinating that they're putting my name in other countries as well. But I'm stubborn. I like this place. I love the history of this place. So it's I still feel that I have other things that I can do here. I get frustrated sometimes, as you do. They're like, we should be doing these things. But on the other hand, I says, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep pushing because there's something. It's hard to describe this place. But once you get here, you get this feeling of the uniqueness of Tucson, the history. I don't know if it has to do with 4,000 years of history, people living here, the desert. There's something magical about this place that makes you resilient and fight. And again, I'm not done yet. I still think that I have things to do here in Tucson.
Well, Felipe, thank you so much for doing what you do.
I'm lucky and I'm blessed that people allow me to do what I do. I feel fortunate about, again, the place that I'm right now, but I feel like huge responsibility. I feel that I have a huge responsibility, again, of making sure that because of my work, I'm doing something to make Tucson better. And that's why every success that we have, like pat in the shoulder, great job, back, but boom, what's next? I have a fish memory that, okay, I forget what happened last month. I'm curious about from here to the future and how we can keep improving.
That's fantastic. As a final thought before we conclude today, if you had another magic phone or a way to communicate to all the business leaders in the world with a singular message, whether that be about Tucson or whether that be about mindset or anything, resilience, what would you communicate to those business owners and entrepreneurs?
So for entrepreneurs and business owners, it's again, be resilient, be thoughtful, but always think about the person across from you, the other person across the table. If it's a business negotiation, whatever it is, put yourself in their shoes and make sure that you're building, you have a value proposition, that you have a project, a contract that is going to be great for both sides. It should not be just for you. I succeeded because I did better than my counterpart. Like, no, make sure you carry those long relationships. And always look about what makes you distinct. Give that extra place. I believe that more important of what you tell people is how you make them feel. So make people feel appreciated, valued, and always try to do a little bit above what is expected. I love, I've been chatting a lot with people in the restaurant world about what is called unrealistic hospitality, on how you can go and do, even though that book was written by someone in the food industry, it has to do with everything you do in life. What can you do that is kind of unrealistic, unexpected? I was chatting with Donny Madia, a very well-known chef restaurateur in Chicago. He's a consultant for the Bear TV show, and he's done a few cameos on the Bear. And we're talking about that sense of hospitality and treating people. At the end of the day, that's it. Everything that we do is about people, individuals. So keep that in mind. Never lose your North Star, never lose your identity of who you are, and keep fighting. You'll have great days, you'll have other days that are not good. Always work to stand up every day and keep doing what you love.
Those are fantastic words, Felipe.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, my friend. We'll keep seeing. And thank you for your doing as well.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it. And thank you for, I know a few times I will send you people that talk to me and they have a great idea, concept project, and says, well, it's not in my DNA, but I know an individual that has a great vision, sees things differently that I do, that can help you. And I know, and thank you for talking to those individuals.
No problem. My pleasure.
Hopefully helping them launch and become better and maybe come to Tucson as well and
Yeah.
set up a business here in town.
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.